Is a YouTube channel a business? Well, some channels are, and some channels clearly are not. Depending on your channel, you may be a contractor or self-employed or a business. By the end of this video, you'll understand the difference between the three. We're also going to be talking about two main types of YouTube channels. So there are two different tracks. They go in widely different directions. So you want to understand what these two tracks are and what strategy is best for your channel. And then we're going to wrap up this video talking about how to make a lot of money with a small channel. Let's dive right in. So the simplest way that you could be making revenue from YouTube is as a contractor. I mean, they make the money, they have the clients, they have the business, YouTube, right? And then you sign up as a partner with YouTube and you fill out some tax information. You can provide your social security number to them or your employer identification number. So to make money, all you have to do is your job. Your job is to make content to go on YouTube, and YouTube will then get the advertisers and put advertisements next to your videos. So the more views your videos get, the more YouTube pays you. Of the advertising revenue that YouTube brings in, YouTube will pay you 55% of that advertising revenue. When I'm talking about contractor, it's kind of as opposed to an employee. You're not an employee for YouTube, you are a contractor. You have a contract with them. They're going to send you a 1099 at the end of the year. That's because they're not withholding taxes. They're paying everything to you, that 55%, not withholding any taxes. So you get that, and when you file your taxes, YouTube will send you a 1099 that you can then file with your taxes. So that is your role with YouTube as a contractor or independent contractor. So how is that different from being self-employed? Independent contractor to being self-employed. Well, a simple way to look at it, if you're self-employed, you've created this job position. You're selling something, you're selling a product or a service. Customers are coming to you, they're paying you, and then you're providing them that service. You're fulfilling on that. So you are self-employed. And to contrast self-employed with a business owner, so we've got contractor, self-employed, business owner. A business owner means you own a system and other people run that system. So think of it in terms of a dentist. Let's say a dentist went on YouTube and all they did was they created content about oral health care, okay? So they didn't drill teeth or anything like that. All they did is just teach people how to take care of their teeth, how to take care of their breath, right? So they are a contractor with YouTube. Now they start drilling and filling people's teeth. So they might do both. They might create content to make awareness or to do marketing or advertising for their business, but then they actually drill and fill people's teeth. They are self-employed if they're doing all the work all by themselves. They have to be the one to answer the phone, to be the receptionist and drill and fill the teeth. But they step into the role of a business owner once they start hiring other people to run systems. Now, a dentist isn't a true business owner, and I've never met a dentist that is truly just self-employed. They're somewhere in the middle, right? Because a dentist hires the receptionist, so he or she doesn't have to do that role anymore. He's got the dental hygienist that will clean the patient's mouths before he comes in and looks at the x-rays and decides if there's a cavity and if something needs to be filled. Now, if this dentist wanted to purely be a business owner, he would then hire other dentists to come do the drilling and the filling. The true test of a business is what happens if you leave on vacation. Is your business shut down for a week, right? Would that dental practice still be open if this dentist left and went on vacation, or do they just close their practice for that week and not schedule anything? But if this dentist hired other dentists, he could leave and the other dentist would continue to drill and fill the teeth. And so it wouldn't matter if he were there or not. That's a true business owner. So when we're talking about the difference between a contractor and being self-employed and a business, it's very important to have that perspective of knowing what a business is or what self-employed is and so forth, to know, is your YouTube channel a business? And it could be either of those three. Now, I want to tell you about the two different tracks of YouTube, okay? You may have heard of Daryl Eves, and if you haven't heard of Daryl, you've probably heard of Mr. Beast, okay? Daryl is the coach that helped Mr. Beast go from 1 million to now well over 260 million subscribers, okay? And then if you're watching this, you know me, I'm Nate Woodbury. this is my book and this is my strategy. So Daryl really knows his stuff. Not only did he help Mr. Beast, he's helped many dozens of channels achieve huge things on YouTube. But his focus is different than this, because I've helped many dozens of businesses achieve huge results using YouTube for their business, okay? So quite a bit different. The focus of Daryl's strategy is to get as many views as possible so you can generate that ad revenue. The whole goal is to build a YouTube channel that generates ad revenue, and they also go after sponsorships, and they need as many views as possible. Now, my strategy is not focused on the ad revenue. It's focused on lead generation for businesses. And we don't need near as many views to make a huge amount of revenue. So just to give you a comparison, typically you need about 1 million views to generate about $10,000 in ad revenue. Well, with this strategy, you only need 100 or a couple hundred views to generate $10,000 in business revenue. So 1 million views versus 100 or a couple hundred views. The approach is also different. The strategy is different. So depending on the type of YouTube channel that you want to create, you might want to get Daryl's book. Both these books are on Amazon. For his book, type in the YouTube formula, Daryl Eves. For my book, type in Nate Woodbury on Amazon. It's called A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube. So let me give you a case study of this strategy, okay? Noelle Randall, she is an expert in Airbnb real estate. So she teaches other people how to do the same thing, how to invest in vacation rentals. She actually has many businesses, but this specific business, in the year 2019, she grew her business to about $1 million in revenue in that previous year. Where she generated leads during that year was Facebook ads. So she paid for Facebook advertising and generated a lot of leads. She had conversations with and sold them her coaching package. It was a 6-month coaching program of how to start positive cash flowing on vacation rental properties. Then she learned about me. She learned about my strategy. She had actually seen some of the other channels that I'd produced, and she had been struggling to get traction on YouTube. So she reached out to me and said, hey, I want you to do for me what you did for these people. So in January of 2020, we started launching 5 episodes per week following the formula that I outline in this book. About 3 or 4 months in, she had enough lead generation coming in from YouTube that she was able to turn off the Facebook ads that she was doing in her business. So people would find her YouTube videos that would lead to a conversation with her about her coaching program. So that's an example in real estate, and I've helped several real estate investing channels thrive and succeed, but I've also helped a couple parenting channels. I've got an OBGYN as a client. I've got a guy who's a politician expert. He teaches people how to get elected. I've got people in the finance industry, in the construction industry, in the public speaking industry, in the health and wellness space, in the motivational space. So if you have expertise and you've built a business around your expertise and you want to learn how to leverage YouTube to turn YouTube into a massive lead generation machine for you. So many of the channels that I produce that we have used this strategy are now generating 7 figures of revenue, a couple of them even 8 figures of revenue in their business just from these YouTube leads. Now, I have a gift for you. I want to give you a copy of my book for free. Now, you do have to pay the printing and shipping costs, just a minimal cost, but there's no profit to me. If you go to natesyoutubebook.com, that's my gift to you.